out and about, make sure to get to your safe shelter. That's your interior part of your house, whether it be a bathroom, be a closet there. Of course, if you have a basement, get down to the basement, take a bicycle helmet, something like that to keep your head covered in case there is flying debris. Now, not seeing any indications that there is a tornado on the ground. This is still radar indicated at the moment, but you can see maybe a little, pop that back up there just a second, Brody, maybe a little bit of a lowering right there in the CC, so something that we'll have to keep a close watch on at the moment, but definitely showing a little bit stronger. Now, this particular storm still a good ways away from the radar. We're looking at it from the Morristown radar, so this could be broad. It may not be on the ground, but if you have reports once the storm safely passes, please send those in to us. That way we can pass those along to the Weather Service in case we need to reissue that watch and warning. So, Brody, kind of take off that for us. Let's show the lightning and the tornado warning itself once again, and we'll put a track on that for you as it's going to move. So there's the severe thunderstorm warning, but the big story is this tornado warning for areas of portions of Morgan County. That's the sliver right there that we're talking about, but it's more so for Scott counties as well, and just a tiny sliver of Campbell County at the moment. So this is moving to the east at 30 miles per hour. You can see he's putting that track on it for you there towards the Scott Municipal Airport. 547, Robbins 556, towards Cordell 613, Norma by 619, and Block as we head closer to 631. So still have quite a bit of time with this. Once again, about 30 minutes. And Brody, if you'll kind of reset the picture and show us the DMA view for us. That way, if you aren't living in these counties, you'll know what's going to be happening over the next little bit, because those showers and storms are really beginning to fire up back to the west as well. You can see more storms developing. Not severe at the moment there across portions of Cumberland County, but our main focus right now is, of course, portions of Scott County, really south of Oneida, heading closer to the Robbins community. Let's take a closer dive in there once again with this tornado warning. This goes until 6:15. The lightning really has intensified. I was talking to Brody before we came on with this warning that the storm really looked like it was strengthening, getting its act together, and sure enough, they did go ahead and pull that tornado warning once again until 6:15. At 5:35, the severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Jamestown, moving to the east at 30 miles per hour. So still getting new updates in on this. Thankfully, not seeing any reissuings of that, but look at the hail there. That hail signature now kind of spiking a little bit as well. That's upwards of an inch in diameter of hail, so that's about quarter size that we're going to have to watch as well. So let's pop up that velocity, take a closer dive once again, see if we can get some of those street levels, because it's about to move into the very northern section of Morgan County, right where those three counties kind of come together. That's the one that we're going to be watching. So there's Fentress, that's Jamestown, of course, for you. There is Scott County, and there's the very far northern section of Morgan County, and it's right there along the interstate there that we're seeing that rotation as it's moving off towards the east at about 30 miles per hour. So far, haven't seen any damage reports from this. We can go back and check on the correlation coefficient as well, make sure we're not seeing any debris lofted. Still a little bit of lowering right there, but nothing that would confirm a tornado from my eyes at the moment. So if you're just joining us, maybe you were watching golf, we're on now before this tornado warning that is in effect until 6:15. So we've got about another 30 minutes to go with this storm as it continues to move off towards the east at about 30 miles per hour. So it's about to move into portions of Scott County there. Thankfully, no other information being reported from the Weather Service, so that means one of two things happening, that either it's not on the ground or they have not received reports of that, and hopefully that's the case that we're seeing currently at the moment. But nonetheless, this tornado warning goes to Scott as well as portions of Campbell and Morgan counties until 6:15, and that was located over Jamestown just a little bit ago when they issued it at 5:36. So Campbell, Morgan, and Scott counties, you need to be in your safe shelter right now, whether it be the interior part of your wall or, of course, in that thing. So they are now issuing a tornado warning. This is where we kind of get things a little bit kind of congealed at times. This is for Fentress County now. So we have two different Weather Service offices, one in Nashville and one in Morristown, and they have now issued a tornado warning for Fentress County as well. So that's where the storm is. Now it is about to move off towards the east. So this particular storm, this severe thunderstorm warning and tornado warning is now until 5:15. 5:15. So that is Central Time, so that's still about 30 minutes from now. But we're dealing with, at 4:45, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located 9 miles east of Jamestown, moving to the east now at 35 miles per hour. So it's picking up just a little bit of speed out there, and that's definitely something that we're going to be keeping a close watch on. So you can see there's Jamestown, there's Grimsley. You're out of harm's way at the moment from the tornado aspect of this. But I will say over the last scan, it does look a little bit tighter. Granted, this is very lofted up in the atmosphere at the moment, so I can't confirm that it's on the ground. At the moment, we haven't seen any reports of any trees down or anything like that. But if you know anybody in this area, make sure that they are in their safe place. Make sure to have their WVLT first alert weather app, maybe a weather radio handy. Text them, say, hey, tornado warning for your area. You need to get in that safe place right now, because that does show some pretty good signs of rotation, at least of loft. Can't confirm that this is down, at least on the ground at the moment, but it's something that we'll have to keep a very close watch on. We do have that WVLT First Alert Weather Day, of course, for you that goes until about 1 o'clock in the morning. And so this is one round that we're particularly keeping a close watch on. Let's go in a little tighter. There's Highway 52 there. It's about to move into western portions of Morgan County. This is near the town there just to the east of Jamestown over towards Rugby. Heads up, that's coming in your general direction. So you can see this area is traveling right there along Highway 52. Right there is the signature. This is where we're most concerned about, right there. So if you have friends and family in this community pushing off towards the east at 30 miles per hour, this is something that we're going to need to keep a close watch on as it does move to the east at 35 miles per hour. Let's zoom out just a little bit, Brody. It's still maybe a little bit lowering. It's still kind of hard to tell, but very strong winds nonetheless. So even if there isn't a tornado on the ground, this could definitely do a little bit of damage in terms of bringing down trees, some power lines, things like that. So, Brody, let's clear off the radar there, the imagery of the wind speeds there, but let's kind of pull back out and give a wide view. If you're just joining us, of course, this is what we're on for, is this tornado warning. We're still tracking strong storms. Let's take a closer dive there into Crossville, if you don't mind, there, as it's beginning to kind of pulse up a little bit there as well. We got a lot of daytime heating here after that morning round of showers and storms. So this is one particular severe thunderstorm warning. This is back, of course, not in our DMA at the moment, but this is going to be moving back into portions of Fentress County as well. So we'll keep a close watch on this. Primarily, the issue that we're going to be watching is going to be for hail, for damaging wind gusts. Tornadoes not really high on the threat level, but you can see what happens if we just get a little bit of shear, a little bit of rotation. That's what we're going to be dealing with. Brody, if you go back down closer to the Crossville vicinity, that's going to be a little bit farther to our south and our east. That's the area that I'm going to want to watch just a little bit as well, with some of those heavy showers and storms. A lot of lightning in the mix as well. These are not severe. Towards Isoline, over towards Crossville, those are the showers and storms we're going to have to keep a close watch on. Heavy downpours, maybe a little bit of hail there along Highway 70 just to the south of 40. Maybe some gusty winds upwards of maybe 40 to 50 miles per hour at times, but nothing that I'm seeing would scream severe weather at this point. So let's go ahead and move back to our tornado warning storm. That tornado warning goes until 6:15, of course, so we still got a little bit of ways to go on that, as this storm is moving off towards the east at 35 miles per hour. So it's a little bit messier. That's something that we kind of like to see, still showing at least a little bit of broad rotation there across portions of eastern Fentress County, and that, of course, that has that tornado warning. That one's going, that will go until 5:15 Central Time. So 5:15 Central Time, 6:15 Eastern Time, and that's why we do have that tornado warning, of course, for us. So I'm just going to check the Weather Service chat as it's continuing to go. Just having some people that are kind of doing sky warned at the moment, so we're going to keep a close watch on this. Once again, if you have friends and family over towards Robbins in Oneida, you need to be in your safe place. Oneida, the storm itself should stay, at least the rotation part should stay just to your south, but it's going to be a close call. So if you're watching from Oneida, go ahead and get in your safe place. I'll talk you through this. We'll get through it together, and of course, hopefully, we're not going to be dealing with much in the way of rotation or any storm damage, at least at the moment. So I'm going to keep a close watch on this. I do see that we have several people that are going to be on this storm. We have special weather spotters that are in the Weather Service chat. They're going to be keeping a close monitor on this storm as it moves into the area. So if we zoom out just a little bit, Brody, zoom out just a little bit and kind of give us a wider view. That way we can draw this track for us and you can kind of clear the radar and show you what we're dealing with, because it is a tornado warning for portions of Scott County until 6:15. So I'm going to keep watching that. Rotation just strengthened a little more over the last scan. It's headed directly towards the Rugby area. The next few minutes previously had a probable tornado debris signature on this storm south of Aldrich and Fentress County. So that is something that we're going to keep a close watch on. I'm going to step off the screen for you here in just a minute and show you that Scott County, 5:56, that's near the municipal airport. Robbins at 6:02, Norma at 6:22, La Follette as we head closer towards 6:43. So I'm going to pop back on the radar signature and show you what I'm talking about here with the velocity just a minute and talk about what we're seeing with that potential tornado debris signature. So we may see just a quick little drop in that tornado signature. So there's what we're looking at in terms of the velocity. We'll flip it back over. Definitely showing some signs of strong rotation at the moment. Right now, correlation coefficient doesn't drop all that much, but I'm going to kind of pop this velocity back on and then give you a quick track from that velocity. That way you know who is in and who is out of this particular storm as it moves to the east at about 35 miles per hour. So areas like Rugby, as I just mentioned, 535 over towards Robbins community as we head closer towards 607 Huntsville, 618 Buckeye, 639 Elk Valley. If you heard your name anywhere in this list, you need to go ahead and make sure that you are in your safe place, whether it be the basement of your home, whether it be the interior part of your closet, maybe it's a bathroom. Just have something to protect your head in case there is flying debris at the moment. So we're going to check that, make sure that we're not watching any additional storms popping up at the moment. So we'll kind of clear things out for you and show you what we're dealing with. Still showing some pretty good signs of rotation there across portions of eastern Fentress County. So let's clear it, just put it back on the regular reflectivity. Take a look at that lightning as well, because that's another thing that we really keep a close watch on. How much lightning is there? If there's an uptick in lightning, that usually means there's an updraft forming. And an updraft is something that can sustain a particular thunderstorm. In this case is this tornado warning, and there is quite a bit of lightning with that as well. Over 50 to 60 strikes with that at the moment. So that's what we're going to be keeping a close watch on it. They just continued the tornado warning for Campbell, Morgan, Scott counties until 6:15. At 5:53, a severe thunderstorm warning capable of producing a tornado was located 8 miles to the southwest of Helenwood, or 13 miles east of Jamestown, moving east at 30 miles per hour. So it's still moving to the east at about 30 miles per hour. We're going to keep a very close watch on this, of course, as we head over the next little bit. But definitely going to keep a close watch on what we're dealing with as this storm kind of pushes off towards the east at 30 miles per hour. So, Brody, let's pop back up that velocity for us and kind of show you what we're dealing with at the moment. See if it's kind of weakened. Hopefully it has. That would be great news. Of course, if you'll clear off that latest track there for you as well, because that's going to be right where that tornado signature is. Let's take a closer dive in there. So heads up towards Robbins. Still kind of broad at the moment. It doesn't look as intense as what it looked like just a few minutes ago. Of course, if you're just joining us, we do have this tornado warning. That's for Fentress, portions of Scott, Campbell, and Morgan counties until 6:15. So we're going to be with you for about another 20 minutes or so. It's 5:55 right now, and we're going to stay with you. But you can see in real time, back it up there. Thank you, Brody. Look at that. That's kind of a strong signature right there. Now, if we pull it up just a few frames to what it looks like now, you can see it kind of begins to lose its shape a little bit now. Of course, part of this is the terrain that we could be looking at, but nonetheless, I'm not seeing that complete signature. And of course, I'm just looking at the National Weather Service as well. Possible tornado touchdown near Aldrich at about 3:43. Gentleman said the tornado touched down briefly, went back up, and there are several trees down. He's on Highway 52 headed east. So that would be kind of right in that area that we were pointing out to you. So if you know any friends or family up there, maybe give them a quick call. If they live back towards Jamestown, ask them if they have any additional information with it at the moment. That's coming into the National Weather Service in Morristown as well. So I'm definitely going to be keeping a close watch on it. Guys in the back, if you hear any reports, get any phone calls or things like that, let me know in my ear as well. That way I can relay this out to our viewers who may be in the path of this. So Helenwood to Robbins, that's the area that we're going to be keeping a very close watch on. Rugby, this is basically over you right now. Oneida, you're in the tornado warning. You probably got it if you have the First Alert Weather app. You got that on your phone. Apple users, more of the same. So that's what we're going to be watching as this storm progresses to the east. once again at 30 miles per hour. So it is moving relatively slow, so that's not the best of news, but still showing some pretty good signs of rotation. Can't forget about the Hell either. If you want to pop up the Hell tracker for us, Brody, yeah, look at that. Some signs of maybe 1 inch to maybe a little bit above that. Then that blue shading about 1.1 inches in diameter. So definitely going to keep a close watch on this, of course, for you as that moves off towards the east. And that's basically right where that rotation is as well. So don't try to go out and see this. You're not going to see it coming unless you're maybe on the south side of it and you can kind of look back into the storm. But please, just go ahead and get in your safe shelter, especially if you're in Robbins to Helenwood, as well as back up towards Oneida. That's going to be the area that we're going to be really concerned about coming up over the next little bit. So 4:43 Central Time, that's when that possible tornado touchdown. So that's a little bit over 14 minutes ago. And if you back it up a few frames and you want to scan back just a little bit, Brody, we can kind of try to pick that out of when that may have actually happened. Let's go back a little bit to the west. So it's going to be just to the east of Jamestown there when that particular tornado may have touched down. So right there, I think that's probably the scan that we probably got the most clear definition or maybe confirmation that there could have been at least a tornado touchdown. That's where we talked about that lower debris signature. It's nothing off the charts that we've seen as meteorologists, but it's low enough that we could see at least a little bit of debris being lofted up into the atmosphere. So that's what we're keeping a close watch on. Make sure that we're keeping you up to date with everything going on. That tornado warning, of course, does go until 6:15 Eastern Time, 5:15 Central Time. So we still have roughly about 13 minutes, or a little bit over 18 minutes, to go. But it is showing maybe a little bit tighter. Brody, let's zoom in right there. It's right there on Fentress as well as Scott and Morgan County line there, just north of 52. So it's kind of moved it's jogged a little bit farther to the north. It's just to the north of Robbins, right around the Rugby community. Let's go in a little bit tighter if you can, Brody, see if we can't pull up some of those names. You can see right there is Rugby, so it's just to your north. Hopefully you're in your safe shelter right now. There's 52, of course. You can zoom out just a little bit. There's Scott Municipal Airport. It's right here at the top of your screen right there. So Black Creek, Robbins, this area, you need to be in your safe place right now. This storm's barreling in on you at 30 miles per hour as it moves off towards the east. So may have had a potential confirmation of a touchdown tornado with this storm already back in Fentress counties. Those are the areas that we're going to need to keep a close watch on. Of course, if you have any damage reports, please send those in to us as long as you do it safely, because this storm does mean a little bit business, and it definitely is showing some signs of broad rotation right there. So no new updates from the National Weather Service. That's good news. I would expect to see this warning continue, especially if it continues to look like this. Brody, let's reset things, especially if you're just joining us. We're at the top of the hour, coming up here in a matter of seconds as we're coming up on 6 o'clock. So let's go ahead and zoom things out, and let's leave it right here. So if you're in Knoxville, things are quiet. You're probably like, okay, why are you on? It's that tornado warning that we're dealing with right here for portions of Morgan, Campbell, and Scott counties until 6:15. I also have a new storm popping up there in Crossville. It's below severe limits at the moment. Haven't seen anything on that. That's good news, at least at the moment. We could have just gotten a new update, but nope. That is a severe thunderstorm warning. That's going to be for this storm right here. So that means business as well. So if you live in portions of Wayne County, maybe northern Fentress, you're going to have to watch this storm as well. We have had history of producing a tornado potentially there in Fentress County, so that's why we do have that tornado warning at least for another 15 minutes. So we're hitting the top of the hour. Of course, I know a lot of you are probably watching golf, but when there's lives in danger, we need to go ahead and make sure that we are protecting those, of course, that are in the path of this storm. So let's go ahead and zoom back in. Still quite a bit of lightning with this storm, so it's still got a healthy updraft is what that means. So that's why the storm is continuing to show signs of that rotation as well as some hail at times. Now, I will say latest scan looks a lot better. That's good news. Hopefully that trend will continue. It definitely looked like it spiked a little bit in and around Rugby back over towards just to the north and west of Robbins. But now it looks a little bit more broad. Still rotation there for sure. So we're going to be keeping a close watch on that. Let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit tighter. There's Oneida. Oneida, this circulation should stay just towards your south. So that's good. But if you live over towards Robbins, over towards Plainview, the Scott Municipal Airport, if you know those areas I'm talking about, this is the area that you need to go ahead and be in your safe place. If you live in Rugby, this is now moving off towards your west. Stay there just another few minutes just to make sure. continues a severe thunderstorm warning. That's not for our area. That's good news. So we are coordinating with 3 different national weather services across here in East Tennessee. So that's why we have to keep a close watch, especially with as many storms that are firing up. Now, this isn't the only line we're going to be watching. Unfortunately, we got another secondary line that's going to move in as we head closer to 9, 10 o'clock. That could pack another punch, mainly straight line winds, and that's really what we're kind of keen and focused on as we head through the rest of this evening. But nonetheless, right now, main focus is on this tornado warning. So there's Scott Municipal Airport right there. Robbins, safe place right now, please. If you don't, that would be your basement. That would be your most interior part of your room. Maybe it's a closet, maybe it's a bathroom. Take something to cover your your head as well. Look at the hail. That's another thing that we may see cause a little bit of damage. Hail's kind of up around 1.1 inch in diameter, so nonetheless, it's a severe thunderstorm warning for the hail itself, even if it's not producing a tornado. So that's what we're keeping a close watch on, or at least at the moment right now. No additional information being given on that. The last was at 5:53, so that was about 9 minutes ago. That was from the National Weather Service in Morristown at 5:53. This is radar indicated, of course. Tornado capable, 13 miles east of Jamestown, moving east at 30, or also located 8 miles southwest of Helenwood, and that is once again moving east at 30 miles per hour. So you can still see strong winds there. Maybe the potential for some brief spin up. Brody, let's zoom out just a little bit more. Let's take off that, and let's go ahead and put on another track for those that may be in the path of this. So let's zoom out just a little bit. Just kind of doing on this southern half of that portion of that storm there. That's where the greatest tornado threat is. So if you're in Oneida, probably hearing thunder, maybe some heavy rainfall as well. Once again, moving east at 30 miles per hour. So we're going to have a good watch on who's about to be in and who's out. Robbins, 6:05. Over towards Cordell, 6:20. Norma, 6:26. Block 6:38, La Follette by 6:49. So if you're in Jamestown or Grimsley, all is good at the moment. Now, we're not done with showers and storms. We still have more of those beginning to pop up. You can see that intense line of storms kind of moving in. That is severe warned at the moment. Not for our area. That's back to the west. But we're going to keep a close watch on the potential for damaging winds, large hail with those. That's not showing any tornadic signatures. Let's go ahead and clear that off for us, Brody, and we'll show you where this is kind of moving. You can put it in, if you want to hit the play button at the top, you can see the general movement of this storm as well. So there's La Follette, there's Highway 75 there. That will be the area that we're going to keep a close watch on, of course, as we head over the next little bit. So you can see there, there's the movement of these showers and storms at the moment. And that's going to be moving just to the south of Oneida at the moment. I'm going to check one of our other sources to make sure I haven't seen any updates from that particular storm, at least at the moment. Hopefully we haven't gotten any reports, but I'm going to check our WeatherVols page for us just real quick to see if they have any reports of damage, and of course relay that on to you as well. But right now, the tornado warning goes for another, just about another 10 minutes, and hopefully they'll let that expire, but I'm still seeing signs of enough rotation that we may be dealing with this just a little bit longer at the moment. So keeping a close watch on this. I'm just checking the WeatherVols once again. That's why you don't see me at the moment. Not seeing anything at the moment that would indicate any damage reports potentially from this storm, but this is the one storm that we're going to be keeping a close watch on. I want to kind of take off that lightning for you as well and show you that we're seeing a little bit of a kidney bean shape to this particular storm. As it's moving a little bit closer towards Oneida, you can see that little white shading. That's going to indicate the hail aspect of this. So that's why it's about 1 inch in diameter. So it still could be a severe thunderstorm warning. You can see that, Brody. Thank you for popping that up. That we do have that hail maybe 1 inch in diameter. So definitely a possibility that we could be seeing large hail with this and not a tornado at the moment. Let's hope that's the case. Hopefully the hail signature will come down as well. Pop on the velocity once again. Let's see what the latest scan is showing. Has shown some signs of at least maybe a little improvement. It's definitely broad. It's definitely not completely gone. Can't dismiss it. It's been kind of a cyclical storm. So this is what we call a supercell. So it's a lone storm. It's kind of moving against the grain of the wind. Winds are coming out of the south now. You may notice it's a little bit breezier, 20 to 25 mile per hour gusts. Well, this storm is moving due east. And anytime we have a storm that's kind of going one way and then you have winds coming out another, it's going to get that rotation going. So that's why we have that possible tornado near Aldrich. Of course, that was about 4:43 or 5:53 Eastern time. But this is right over the Robbins community. This is just north of Robbins at the moment. There's Highway 27. Oneida is right here. Helenwood right there, you need to be in your safe places. Trying to jog a little bit farther to the north, just a little bit. Oneida, I still think that you're probably going to miss out on the brunt of the rotation. You definitely got heavy rainfall, but we're popping on what we call the correlation coefficient. And what that is kind of tells us, is there any debris? And there's a smidgen of lowering right here. Brody, pop back on the velocities there. Let's see if it correlates. It doesn't, so that's why I don't think that we're dealing with a tornado, at least on the ground at the moment. But nonetheless, Robbins, Helenwood, Huntsville, you need to be in your safe place right now. Make it the interior part of your home. That would be a great way to do it. I'm going to log back in on this computer and kind of show you what we're dealing with and make sure that we haven't gotten any additional updates from the National Weather Service itself. I haven't heard anything. That's good news, at least from the Weather Service itself, that we're not going to do it. So they did allow, at least this is going to be back into the Nashville market. So the severe thunderstorm warning, the tornado warning for Jamestown, that's gone. That has been allowed to expire. The worst of the storm is now east of there. This is now into Scott County and maybe a small sliver of northern Morgan County at the moment. So Robbins to Huntsville, back over towards Oneida. That's the area that we're going to have to keep a close watch on as this storm moves through. So biggest concern, there might be two areas. One's right here, kind of right there, Fentress and Scott County line, and then right here as well. That's got a little bit more broad rotation just north of Robbins at the moment. So we've got about 8 more minutes with this particular tornado warning. It goes until 6:15 Eastern time. So hopefully we'll allow it to expire, get you back to regular scheduled programming. Can't promise you that, but we do have a severe thunderstorm watch out as well for a good portion of the viewing region until 11 o'clock tonight. So that's still a long ways to go. 10 o'clock for Cumberland as well as Fentress counties. That's Central Time. 11 o'clock for other areas. So if we look at these storms, there are signs of more hail beginning to pop up there in Crossville. Brody, let's take a closer dive down there, if you will, please, and show you who's seeing what down in Cumberland County, because this is about to move into southern Morgan County. The hail scope not picking up on anything at the moment, and they just issued another tornado warning. So they have extended it. I told you that might be the case, and sure enough, that's what it's going to do. So guys in the back, we're going to be with you until 7 o'clock. That's the top of the hour unless they allow this to expire a little bit early. So keeping a close watch on this. Here's the latest information on this tornado warning that you see here. It's still very broad at the moment. Haven't gotten any additional reports of damage, but it has had it in the past. So we got to treat it as such. So here it is. Tornado warning for Campbell, Morgan, and Scott counties until 7 o'clock. At 6:07, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Helenwood or 10 miles south of Oneida, moving east at 30 miles per hour. So there it is. There's Helenwood. This is located, once again, about 10 miles south of Oneida, and this was located near Helenwood. So this is the area that we're watching at the moment. I almost think that northern part that I just pointed out might be weakening a little bit, and it's actually probably portions on the southern area that we're going to have to keep a close watch on. That's going to stay just north of Robbins. So Oneida is right here. That's right where my finger is. Helenwood, Robbins. If you're anywhere along Highway 27 there, you need to be in your safe place. If you know people that may be driving along it, call them, text them, say, hey, get off, get to the nearest gas station if possible until this storm passes. Nonetheless, this is what we're going to be dealing with at least probably for the next 50 minutes or so. Hopefully we'll see that kind of coming down. But at least as of now, we are seeing that particular storm producing a little bit of damage. I'm looking back at the National Weather Service from Nashville, 6 miles to the east of Aldert in Fentress County, thunderstorm wind damage at 4:43, report of a possible tornado with multiple trees down. So same storm, still caused a little bit of damage back across Fentress County, so it's better to err on the side of caution. So we're going to keep a close watch on that. Of course, we got Jackson County also dealing with some of those stronger storms up into portions of southeastern Kentucky. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to show you that hail tracker. Still about 1 inch in diameter, heading right for Helenwood, back over towards Robbins, and should stay just to the south of Oneida at the moment. Brody, if you'll kind of clear that off of there and just kind of zoom back out, and let's show them the new tornado warning that has been issued. This, once again, is moving to the east at 30 miles per hour. So Elk Valley, let's zoom in just a little tighter for me. And this is going to be the new one right here. It's just kind of extended just a little bit. Elk Valley's right here, not under it. Oneida, yes. Now, you may get on some of that heavy rainfall, maybe some of that hail as well, back over towards Huntsville, Robbins. That's the area that we're going to be keeping a close watch on. And anytime you get like a little kidney bean shape, what I mean by that, you got this little hook. So you got inflow coming in here, so strong southerly winds streaming this way. Then you got winds coming back out of the west, and that's causing that rotation. And anytime you see this signature right here, that's also an indication that we could be dealing with some strong hail as well. So just getting updated and trying to keep a close watch on that. Make sure the Weather Service chat is also logged in for us as we head over the next few minutes. So here it is, still pretty good wind. So maybe not a tornado on the ground. We can't say for certain. That's why that tornado warning is there until 7 o'clock. But it's definitely showing signs of strong straight line winds as well. But I'm getting a little bit more concerned about this area right here, just to the north of Robbins. It does look to be a little bit stronger. There's a little bit more of a signature there. Looking at the correlation coefficient, I'm not seeing any necessarily any types of lowering. And what I mean by that, so you've got these reds, these yellows, those oranges. Anytime you see that, that just means heavy rainfall. It's all one type of precipitation. But if you get into areas like this where it's a little bit mixed, where you got a little yellow, a little orange, what that could mean is that we could be seeing hail. And anytime you get a little blue or even a drop in that correlation, that could mean that we have debris. And I'm not seeing that, at least at the moment. So that's good news. Severe thunderstorm warnings continuing back to the west as well. But here's the latest scan. So right now, my opinion, it's pretty broad, but it's enough that we're going to have to keep a close watch, especially as it moves closer to the radar. Once it was across the plateau, it's kind of what we call a radar gap or a radar void. So it's kind of hard to pick up what's happening at the lower level. But Morristown, of course, is off to our east. It's behind me there. But anytime that we're beginning to pick this up a little bit closer to the radar, that's a sign that we may be dealing with maybe some lower level rotation. So you can see there's multiple tornado warnings. This right here, though, that is not in our DMA, or that is not in effect at the moment. That's for Fentress County. That's not for the area that we're going to be watching. That's storms well past of you. There's no tornado threat for you. That should clear off the screen coming up momentarily here in the next 3 minutes once we hit 6:15. So that's going to be gone. Huntsville, you need to be in your safe place right now. Buckeye towards Block, over towards La Follette, 6:50. Demery, as we head closer to the top of the hour at 7 o'clock. So you can see 7 o'clock's all the way behind me over there with that latest track, and the tornado warning doesn't quite go out that far. It's because they're thinking this may try to slow down just a little bit. And, of course, if we have any more updated information, then that's when they'll reissue the tornado warning on downstream. But for right now, definitely some pretty good hail, maybe on the south side of Oneida. So if you have friends, family there, still make sure that you're going to be in that safe place. The hail has come down a little bit, still looking at maybe an inch in diameter at the most, at least with what I'm looking at the moment. So that's some good news. There's the rotation still about to move right across Highway 27. Brody, let's kind of move a little bit farther to the east with that wind track, the velocity track there, and kind of zoom in on some of those communities that are being impacted right now along Highway 27. So over towards Robbins, over towards Helenwood, those are the areas that we're going to be watching. There's Huntsville. Safe place right now. This is heading right for you. It's basically right on top of you. Remember, the radar is always just a little bit behind, a few scans behind. Of course, right there, there's 27, so it's probably over 27 right now, moving into Huntsville there in Scott County. Robbins, the circulation's a little bit north of you. Stay in that safe place at least for the next probably 5 minutes, and I'll give you that all clear. So if you live back in Fentress, you're all good from this particular storm itself. We'll keep a close watch on this. This is closer to Helenwood as well as Oneida as it moves off towards the east at 30 miles per hour. So let's reset. Maybe you're just joining us. Of course, we normally have WVLT news coming up at 6:30. Probably not going to have that, at least as long as this tornado warning is out at the moment, and that's what we're dealing with. So I want to also bring to your attention, we haven't had a whole lot of rain or storms this afternoon across the South Valley. A lot of warmth out there. Temperatures back into the lower 80s right now. So we're going to have a lot of heating that could particularly impact us. Brody, if you'll go back to the west as well, back towards Nashville, I want to show you what's happening back that way. This is going to be the line of showers and storms that we're going to have to keep a close watch on as it moves a little bit closer. Right now, none of this is severe warned. That's good news. Let's hope that trend continues for us. But I do think eventually that we're going to, of course, see some of these beginning to pick up a little bit of intensity once they move into a more unfavorable environment, which is what we're seeing. So, Brody, let's go back to Fentress County because now we have a severe thunderstorm warning for the northern section of that. This is up over towards Paul Mall there. Of course, you can see a little bit of hail. This is what this one's for. Let me make sure I read this correctly. For 60 mile per hour winds, that's radar indicated, an 1.25 inch diameter size hail possible. This goes until 6 p.m. Central Time, so 7 o'clock as well. Here's kind of a cool little thing to look at. This is a straight line wind threat. You don't see any couplets. You don't see green and red touching together. So we're not expecting a tornado to come out of this. But straight line winds, definitely a possibility. So that's just for the very northern sections of Fentress County. That goes until 6 o'clock, of course, Central Time. So 7 o'clock Eastern, so about 45 minutes with that particular one as well. But let's clear that. Let's go back to our tornado warning storm, because that's the one that I'm most concerned about, at least as of now. Oneida, probably hearing that heavy rain, hearing the thunder, seeing the lightning flash. But also look at this right here. This is beginning to get a little bit interesting. There's kind of what we call a weak bounded echo region, and that's where, if we take that off just for a minute, Brody, and go back to that reflectivity, I want to show you something and make sure it lines up with what we're seeing. So you see that little, what we call a little donut hole? So that's kind of a weak bounded region that we are watching. So it's kind of a relaxation in the radar. You got heavy rain right here. You got hail on the backside, and this is the mesocyclone is what we call it. So this is the area that's rotating. It's that wall cloud that many of you kind of send pictures in, and you can see, and it could be associated with a tornado. So let's put my hand right there. That's in the weak bounded echo region. Let's put on the particular velocity. Let's see if it correlates, because that could mean that we could see a little bit of strengthening. Right now, yeah, that's definitely in that area that would be of concern. And it definitely looks like the winds have kind of picked back up in a little bit of intensity. This is heading right for Huntsville. I'm not seeing anything that would say tornado debris signature, at least on the radar. This might be a scan behind, so we'll keep a close watch on that. But this is the area that I'm going to keep a very close watch on, of course. Not seeing any updates from the National Weather Service, so hopefully not seeing any reports. But if you know friends and family up in this area that live in Huntsville, and then this can be back off towards the east as well. Norma's right there at the bottom of your screen. This should stay kind of right along to the north as it moves off towards the east at 30 miles per hour. So let's clear that. Let's put a track on that. That way the areas will know who is impacted with this as it once again moves off towards the east at 30 miles per hour. The storm's still producing some large hail off towards the north, just to the south of Oneida. Helenwood, hopefully you're in a safe place right now. This is going to be just to the north of Robbins. You can see the storm itself is a little bit smaller. That's at least some good news at the moment. You can see it is pushing off towards the east, though, at 30 miles per hour. So this is the area that we're going to be tracking as we go over the next little bit. So we own about 627 over towards Buckeye by 644. That's going to be the area that we're going to be keeping a close watch on. So we'll keep a close watch on this. Let's see, the new update issues a tornado warning for Cumberland, Tennessee. So this is going to be back. This is also a new tornado warning that is coming out for Cumberland, Tennessee. So let me go ahead and kind of step off the screen for you just a minute, and we're going to go back and show you what's going on across portions of Cumberland County as well. We now have multiple tornado warnings at the moment for different areas. So there's the new tornado warning as well. Guys in the back, I'm going to switch over here to the Weather Center. So if you want to pop up that here in just a minute, we can do that as well. But I'm going to kind of take over here because we now are balancing two separate tornado warnings at the moment. So this is one for Cumberland County, as well as portions of Scott, Campbell, and Morgan counties. That's until 7 o'clock. Let me double check on the one that is for Crossville. This is 9 miles east of Crossville, moving east at 35 miles per hour. Hail of an inch in diameter. Radar indicated possibility of a tornado there near Fairfield Glade. Of course, this is indicated, and this goes until 5:45 Central Standard Time. So that's going to be 6:45 Eastern Time. So let's kind of reset things for you, and I'll show you what we're dealing with, because we now have multiple tornado warnings at the moment. So we have one here for Scott County. That's where the storm is right now. It does technically include a very small section, Morgan County. You're in the clear. Don't worry about that. That storm is now off towards your east. Then also we're going to have to watch for portions of Campbell County. That's the area. And then we also have that storm now developed just to the east of Crossville. So let's take a close dive into that one. Let's kind of dissect it and show you what we're dealing with. This storm doesn't look overly strong, at least on the radar signature. It's a small one, but they're what we call those supercells that are popping up. So you can take us full screen, and we'll show you exactly what's happening with the latest on the velocity there, showing you that we do have quite a decent little signature there. It's not as strong as the one that I've noticed back across portions of Scott County, but you can see right here, this is the area that we're going to be keeping a close watch on, of course, as we head over the next little bit. So it's about 25 minutes with that particular tornado warning that's going to continue. Let's back it up just a few frames and see what it's looked like over the last little bit. And you can see definitely showing some signs. And this is where that radar gap kind of comes into play. It's hard to tell what's happening at the surface. Right now, this is coming from the Morristown radar, and it does show some signs of weak rotation. So that's why the National Weather Service has went ahead and issued that tornado warning in particular. Now let's go back to the other storm that's back up towards Oneida, and it's definitely looking a little bit more of that classic little hook. You kind of have one that's coming down. It's right over Huntsville at the moment right now. That's 63 that's going through Scott County. Robbins, Norma, you're okay at the moment. You're fine. You can come out of your safe place. I'll give you the all clear there. In Oneida, you're in the all clear as well. This storm's going to stay towards your south. You're probably still hearing that thunder, seeing flashes of lightning, maybe some heavy rain at times, but it's towards Elk Valley, back over towards La Follette. You're going to want to start paying attention. That's McLeod Mountain over there. Elk Valley, you're not in that tornado warning at the moment. That's as you head over towards Claiborne counties, but this is the area that we're going to keep a very close watch on. Back over towards Log Mountain, La Follette, this is an area that we're going to want to keep at least on taps for the next little bit. So they have expired the severe thunderstorm warning there. Storm is now passing over or near Huntsville with very concerning rotational signatures. So that's what we're about to show you here. And that's not what we like to hear, of course. If you're in Huntsville, please be in your safe place right now. You can definitely tell that we do have that severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado. I'm going to draw it a little bit better for us so we can see what's going on right now. And that's definitely a little bit more concerning, especially with the area that we're seeing at the moment. There's a lot of greens and reds touching. They're strong, so that could indicate that there is a tornado on the ground. There's Stanley Junction. It's just to your north there. You're just to the north of the primary rotation. It's Huntsville. You need to be in your safe place. Please be there. And this is heading off towards Buckeye as well. Make sure that you are in your safe shelter at the moment. So they're continuing the tornado warning. They have canceled it for Morgan County. That was that little sliver I told you about. That's gone. So if you're in Fentress, Morgan, no warnings for you. If you're in Scott County as well as Campbell County, yes, this is something that we're going to have to keep a very close watch. This is getting a little bit more concerning for us. We'll pop on the correlation coefficient and kind of talk about what we're seeing at the moment. Right now, nothing strong, but it's right here. It's kind of hard to tell, but right here, just to the east of Huntsville, there's a little bit of a drop. So that might mean that there is a little bit of rotation with this storm. The hail has come down, so that's not as much of a concern for us anymore, at least at the moment. We'll keep a close watch on that, but anytime you see a storm velocity of something like this, this is a little bit more concerning that there could be a potential tornado on the ground. So I'm going to kind of zoom back out. We're going to give you a quick update on where the rotation part of the storm is and how it's moving as it moves to the east at 30 miles per hour. So there it is, Buckeye, 6:43. So we got 20 minutes. Got plenty of lead time. Go ahead and get in that safe place. La Follette, this is 7:04. So technically not under that severe thunderstorm or that tornado warning, but make sure that you're paying close attention. Had that WVLT first alert weather app. Elk Valley is over there, La Follette and McLeod Mountain. That's closer to 7:13. So make sure that you're in your safe place as well. Brody, if you'll keep a close eye on weather vols, make sure that we're not getting any reports of damage there. Guys in the back, if you haven't heard anything or if you do hear anything, please let me know. So we're going to kind of toggle back between, I want to keep a close watch on that storm, but I don't want to forget about our friends down in Crossville as well and Cumberland County, because this is a tornado warning as well, and that's something that we're going to have to keep a close watch on. This one doesn't look as impressive as the one that we have. Once again, it's kind of in radar no man's land, if you want to call it that. We need to make sure to have maybe some radars here if we can build those in the future, but it is showing you signs of at least broad rotation right here. This is just north of Interstate 40. There's Kingston. You're not in this tornado warning. That's good news. We're going to keep a close watch on that. That's the latest update on the radar scan, not showing any signs of strong rotation, at least on the radar at the moment, but enough weak rotation that it does warrant that tornado warning. So it's right there. This storm is moving off towards the east at about 30 to 35 miles per hour. This is moving east at 35. We'll put a track on that for you. That way those impacted by this storm will be alerted as well. And there's still additional showers and storms popping up, and this is going to be kind of a long night for us. We're going to have to keep a close watch on a lot of these cells, at least individually, that are moving in. If this continues on its heading, this will be heading closer to the greater Knoxville area, way on down the line, closer to 8, 9, 10 o'clock. But this is near Harriman, 646. You need to go ahead and be in your safe place. Technically not in that tornado warning at the moment, but you want to go ahead and be prepared for it. Coalfield, 7 o'clock. Oliver Springs, 7:07. Oak Ridge, 7:13. Hardin Valley as we head closer to 7:21. Of course, this particular tornado warning goes until 5:45 Central Time, so 6:45, so about 20 more minutes with this particular storm. So while that one's not looking as impressive at the moment, I want to go back to this one that's back up into portions of Scott County that's really kind of gravitating towards at least a decent velocity signature, and that would be of concern. Now there it is. We'll zoom in a little bit tighter and kind of show you the last few scans. It does look to be a little bit more broad than what it was just a scan or two ago. So you can see as it was right near Huntsville, that's the rotation that we were seeing that was very strong, indicating a possible tornado on the ground. Not seeing that as strong of a signature, at least at the moment, but it's been a very cyclic storm. And what I mean by that is sometimes it pulses up and sometimes it pulses down. So let's go ahead and kind of pull back on the radar just a little bit and show you what's going on. It's kind of getting hard to tell. We're getting the heels where it's kind of hard to see what's going on, but there might have been a brief drop in the correlation coefficient. I'll zoom in a little bit closer when it was right in and around Huntsville at the moment, and that's the area that we were kind of keeping a close watch on, at least at the moment. It could have been a brief drop. It's going to be right in this area right here, which is kind of where that rotation is right now. So we're going to keep a close watch on that for us as the storm continues to progress towards the east at 30 miles per hour. It might be trying to jog just a little bit more to the northeast, so that might, sometimes they move a little bit to the left is what we call them, and sometimes they move back towards the right. And this particular storm is still showing some pretty good signs of rotation. It's just to the east of Huntsville. Of course, you got Buckeye just off towards the east as well. Make sure you're in your safe place. Elk Valley, now's the time that we're going to probably want to be taking your precautions as well, at least thinking about where am I going to go if they issue a warning for our area, which it does look like, at least if the signature holds like this, I would expect them to reissue it as it moves off towards the east. So there's the hail. We'll talk about that briefly in just a moment. This is just north of Huntsville. Not showing as great of rotation, or at least in terms of the hail signature, not getting as good returns on that particular storm as we once were. But the rotation still kind of there. This is the latest scan. This is just coming in. Definitely looks a little bit more broad, but once again, we're kind of getting in that area where it's a little bit tough to see, and kind of where we're going to have to really rely on some ground truth or something of that nature to help kind of provide what's happening. So if you are in this area, don't come out of your safe place. It's not the time to do it. So if you live in Elk Valley over towards Buckeye, stay in your safe place towards Terry Creek. Weona is right here. That is towards your south, but that's the area that we're going to be watching. And it kind of looks like this front end might be kind of dissipating just a little bit, but we're going to have to watch this back end. That might kind of come back up, of course, and prompt at least another area of rotation. So not seeing anything at the moment for the National Weather Service at the moment, so that's good news. Hopefully they're not getting any confirmations on any of these particular storms, but also don't want to forget about Cumberland County with this particular tornado warning. This goes until 6:45 Eastern, 5:45, so about another 17 minutes or so with this particular storm. I'll pop up that warning for you. There it is, Cumberland until 5:45. You can see that red shading. If I-40 is right there, it's heading closer towards the Harriman community as it pushes off towards the east. Let's look at that velocity and see how that's looking at the moment. It wasn't strong just a little bit ago, but I will say now, at least with this latest scan, it does look a little bit more intense. It's right here. That's the area that we're going to be watching. This storm is moving to the east at 35 miles per hour, so a little bit faster. The one in Scott County is moving towards the east at 30. This one now moving more so about 35, so let's put a quick track on that for you. It's right where that hail core is. That's kind of how the other storm was as well. That was the area that we were having to keep a close watch on, but there it is as it moves off towards the east. Pine Orchard, 6:45, Harriman, 6:58. So Pine Orchard, you're right there on the kind of the outer peripherals of this tornado warning. We'll have to see. We're getting into the point where the Morristown Weather Service will reissue this warning for areas off towards the east if they deem it fit. So that's what we're kind of going in. The tornado warning was prompted by the Nashville office. Now we'll see if the Morristown office picks it up as it moves off towards the east. So right now, not seeing that at the moment. But they also issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Fentress County now with a possible tornado tag, winds of 60 miles per hour. So let's kind of zoom back out. It's getting a little bit active. There's lots of warnings on there. So if you're just joining us, meteorologist Jacob Durham here. We're tracking multiple tornado warnings as well as a few severe thunderstorm warnings. Jamestown, you were just hit by that tornado warning just a few moments ago, and now you're beginning to see it, a secondary line kind of moving in. So let's take a quick look at that one, because that one is showing some signs of rotation as well. That severe thunderstorm warning goes until 6:15 Central Daylight Time. So what that one is until 7:15 if we're going at Eastern. So there's the tornado warning. That goes until 7 o'clock. That's for Campbell and Scott counties. We zoom over just a little bit more. This is the new severe thunderstorm warning that was just issued. Jamestown, heads up. We're going to see another line of straight line winds, maybe the possibility of some rotation as well. So let's take a closer look at that. Let's see what that storm itself is looking like. And yeah, there's definitely a little bit of rotation potentially on the south side of this storm. This is going to be to the south and west of Jamestown. It's right here. It's on the western part of Fentress County. So areas that were just under that tornado warning, be mindful. It's not a tornado warning at the moment. I'm not seeing anything that would signal that this would be upgraded to a tornado warning, at least at the moment. That doesn't mean that things won't change a little bit, but we're going to keep a close watch on that. So I'm going to clear that. That's the severe thunderstorm warning. That goes until 6:15 Central Time, and we still have this storm that's about to move into portions of Campbell County near Elk Valley. Heads up, this one is heading in your general direction. Still showing some signs of a little bit of a hook. Let's see what the velocity looks like. Sure enough, there still is a little bit of that velocity that's kind of signaling that we might be seeing a little bit of broad rotation. It's not as strong as what it was about 5-10 minutes ago with the latest scans, but right here, this is going to stay just north of Buckeye. This is going to be very close to Elk Valley as it moves off towards the east. So let's pop on the correlation coefficient. Let's see maybe a little bit of lowering right here. So this is kind of matching up just a little bit with that particular radar signature, at least the velocity signature. Anytime we see that, that's a little bit more concerning. So it is lining up pretty good with that at the moment right here, and that's what we were just talking about, that correlation coefficient. So we're going to keep a close watch on that, of course, as we go through the next little bit. So this particular tornado warning, once again, until 7 o'clock. So we have about another 30 minutes with that. It's probably going to be out of the warning before then. So we're going to have a decision to make. The Morristown will make a decision on whether or not to extend it or whether or not to keep it. So there's their tornado warning till 7. Severe thunderstorm warning for Fentress County, that's until 6:15 Central Time. So we still have about another 45 minutes with that. If they allow the tornado warnings to expire, we'll get you back to regular scheduled programming. Of course, we're normally on WVLT News at 6:30, but unfortunately with these tornado warnings, we're going to stay on and keep you covered in case any of these do prompt at least some damage, in which that one that's now in Scott County has done in the past. So let's take a look at this one in Cumberland County. Storm is beginning to move a little bit farther towards the east, and it's still showing some signs of at least some pretty good wind signatures. If there is rotation, it's right here on the backside of this storm. It's about to move into portions of Morgan County once again, southern Morgan County this time. So we're going to keep a close watch on that. Morristown hasn't said anything about that. They haven't reissued that tornado warning, which is good news. So hopefully they're seeing some signs that it might be a little bit weaker. Hell, not really existing at the moment either. I'll pop the lightning back on though. We'll kind of take a look at how these storms are doing in terms of lightning, because if there's an uptick in lightning, which there's quite a bit of lightning with this small storm itself, if we back it up just a little bit, you can see quite a bit of lightning kind of pulsed up, and now it's a little bit lower. But the storm up there in portions of Scott County, much different story. There's a lot of lightning. This orange shading of the browns, those are the old lightning strikes. The white lightning strikes, those are the ones that are fresh over the last minute or so. So this is the area that we're going to be watching really closely, because there is quite a bit of lightning with that one, and that would make me believe that there's still some signs of a strong updraft, strong rotation with that one. So they have just now issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Loudoun, McMinn, Meigs, Monroe, Ray, and Roane counties until 7:30. So possible tornado tag with this particular severe thunderstorm as well. So this is why we gave you that first alert for things that were going to happen. So let me kind of zoom back out. We'll talk about that particular severe thunderstorm warning because it does encompass quite a few areas. So this is a southern storm. So this is a separate storm, and this is what we're going to be watching. Now you got the main line back over towards Nashville. You have that. So this is the area that we're going to be watching here. That's now prompting a few severe thunderstorm warnings. That's going to be later on this evening. So it's not just a 1-2 punch. It's a multiple punch kind of day. We got multiple rounds coming through at least at the moment. So we do have the severe thunderstorm warning. That includes portions of Loudoun, McMinn, Monroe, Ray, and Roane counties. A lot of this is just kind of those small little corners of the counties, but nonetheless, Watts Bar Lake, hopefully nobody's out on the lake right now because this storm is about to barrel into your area. This is going to be heading right up 75, about to the 40 split towards Kingston's Pike. There you go, Knoxville, Bearden's right in this area. So this storm's got a trajectory right towards Knoxville at the moment. They have issued a tornado warning for Morgan County until 7:15. So they've extended it just a little bit longer until 7:15. This is radar indicated severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado. Was located 9 miles southwest of Wartburg, moving northeast at 35 miles per hour. So that's that southern storm that I just mentioned. It was coming out of Cumberland counties. That's the area that we're going to be keeping a close watch on at the moment. So we're going to keep a close watch on this. Guys in the back, do you have any reports of damage? I haven't seen anything in the National Weather Service chat. If you haven't, that's okay. But we're going to keep a close watch on this, of course, with these tornado warnings. There's now... Okay. Yeah, so no reports. Thank you, guys in the back, for letting me know that. Of course, we'll stick with it as we head over the next 30 to 45 minutes. We have these tornado warnings that we're going to keep a close watch on. New storm, Morgan County, southern Morgan County now. This does include Wartburg. This is until 7:15 Eastern time, so another 35 to 40, well, almost 45 minutes now as this storm is lifting off towards the north. Still showing some signs of rotation. We'll pop on the velocity for you and show you what we're dealing with. Of course, we came on just about the top of the hour, about 6 o'clock, a little bit before that actually, with the initial tornado warning. And now we're just going to continue to see these little cells kind of drifting off towards the north. So you can see that area of rotation right here. That's the area that we're going to be watching as it lifts off towards the northeast now at 35 miles per hour. So let's put a new track on it, show you who's in and who's out of the warning. There's Wartburg there. This is lifting off towards the north, towards Colusa. Oakdale, and there's Pine Orchard that we talked about, Union over towards Frozen Head State Park, Stevens, you got all these roadways in there as well, 27 goes right there, and then we also have portions of 27 lifting off towards the north. There's 29A that kind of extends down near the Oakdale community, but this is all lifting off towards the north and east at 35 miles per hour. So let's put a quick track on it as it is lifting off. There's the newest scan. It does look a little bit stronger, so as it lifts off towards the north and east, Union, 706, Frozen Head State Park, 711, Tioga, 720, Braytown, 726, and Charlie's Branch, by 734. So multiple severe thunderstorm warnings, multiple tornado warnings at the moment. Let's go back to the one that definitely has my attention peaked, and I'm going to turn off the lightning because it does look like it's got quite a bit of a little bit of a hook to it there still. So we still got the inflow coming in here. We've got the back edge there showing you some rotation there. It's heading right towards Elks Valley. Have not got confirmation on any damage out of this storm as it's moved through Scott County. That's at least good news. We'll pop a quick track on that. And I will say there is some great news out of this, in my opinion, that the rotation doesn't look to be as strong at the moment. Now, they have issued... let's see, that's going to be out of the Nashville market. So issues a tornado warning for Fentress County. So now we have another tornado warning. So definitely a very busy time. And I know a lot of you are probably like, okay, we get it, there's a tornado warning. But let me rest assure you that these storms are going to be moving into more populated communities over the next little bit. And every life and property matters. So that's why we're here to give you that first alert. So let's go ahead, zoom back out. Let's take another look. This is with that particular severe thunderstorm that I told you was moving into Jamestown. So this does include Jamestown. You need to be in your safe shelter right now as this storm is moving off towards the north and the east at about, that one's moving east at 35 miles per hour. And now we are issuing a separate tornado warning as well. So we've got multiple warnings. We're going to just kind of reset things for you. We're going to zoom out. We're going to go one by one, talk about what's happening because we definitely have multiple tornado threats. We have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, almost 5 tornado warnings at the moment. And then we have a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado that's heading back into portions of Roane and Loudoun counties. So we're going to keep a close watch on that. But if you're here in Knoxville, to Morristown, to Newport, to Gatlinburg, to Maryville, to Madisonville, no worries. You're fine right now, at least at the moment. And they also now have just issued a severe thunderstorm watch to include the rest of the viewing region. That goes until 11 o'clock tonight. So Definitely going to be a long night. I'm here with you, of course. We're going to keep you safe, and we're going to hopefully get through this without too much damage at the moment. So here's what we're going to be looking at. We'll start off to the west. We'll start near the newest tornado warning that is in for Jamestown, at least at the moment. We'll kind of pop up the velocities and show you what we're dealing with. This is definitely a little bit more broad in rotation at the moment. There it is. There it is, Jamestown, right there. There's Paul Mall, off to the north. But this area right here at Jamestown, you need to be in a safe place. Make it the interior part of your house. Make sure that you are having something to cover your head. That's going to be another great way, of course, to do it. So currently monitoring, this is from the National Weather Service. I want to share this with you as well. Currently monitoring discrete storms off the plateau with additional storms in northern and middle Tennessee moving eastward. The one entering Morgan and Campbell counties has maintained strong rotational signatures, and the potential for brief tornadoes with them remain. Otherwise, the storms are capable of producing strong straight-line winds and severe hail. Cluster of storms near Jamestown will likely be favorable for straight-line winds, though how today has gone, watching closely for more tornadic development. So that's why we are keeping a very close watch on this as well over towards Jamestown. This is the area that we're going to be watching very closely, and of course, we'll let you know. I'm going to take off my jacket, getting a little warm in here, but we're going to keep watching these tornado warnings as they move off towards these. So that one's until, once again, that one's until 7:15 at the moment. That will go until 7:15 Eastern, 6:15 Central Time. So that one's going to go for about another 30 minutes. Let's clear it. Let's go back to our initial tornado warning that we cut in for, as it's now moving into portions of Campbell County. And yeah, unfortunately, it's still showing that signs of rotation here. There's Elk Valley. There's the rotational signature we're seeing about to cross 75 in between Saxton and La Follette. You got La Follette here over towards Log Mountain. La Follette, not in the tornado warning. This is continuing to jog a little bit farther to the north and east, so you're not in that. But Elk Valley, safe place right now. If you know any friends, family driving along 75 that may be in Scott or Campbell counties, tell them to go ahead and find the nearest gas station, pull in. No overpasses or underpasses or anything like that. That's just as dangerous. So that's what we're going to be looking at least for now. They have issued a severe thunderstorm warning as well for Campbell, Morgan, and Scott counties. That is until 7:45. So that's with that storm that we were just talking about with the tornado warning that was back in Jamestown. So that's the same storm, but it's a severe thunderstorm warning at the moment. I'm going to give some all clear, so give you some good news in that regard. Oneida to Helenwood, you're all clear. Robbins, all good. We're going to continue to watch that storm moving in from Fentress County once again. They have tagged it 60-mile-per-hour winds and hail of 1 inch in diameter. So definitely going to keep a close watch on that. But I do want to take a look at this rotational signature once again. I'm not trying to leave anybody out, but it does look a little bit more lopsided at the moment, at least with the latest signatures. This is right near Elk Valley. Safe place right now. Still signs of at least broad rotation. We're going to keep a close watch on that. It's been cyclic. It's kind of pulsed up. It's pulsed back down as well. And hopefully the trend, at least over the next little bit, is that it kind of pulses back down. But anytime you see a little hook like that, that's when things get a little bit more concerning, at least at the moment. So let's go ahead and go into this particular tornado warning. This is for Morgan County, the southern portion of Morgan County, until 7:15, so 30 minutes on this as well. This is moving off towards the north and east at 35 miles per hour. Let me make sure we're not seeing anything else. Some strong thunderstorms at the moment. Other than that, everything looks to remain the same. So let's take a look at this velocity as well, show you what we got going on here. It's still a pretty good little hook on that one as well. It looks a little bit different than the storm to the north, as this one's moving a little bit more towards the north and east. But anytime, there's that little broad rotation we have right there. So that's what we're going to be watching. Wartburg, go ahead and get in your safe place right now for me. Along Highway 27 there, up towards Pine Orchard. That's the area that we'll be keeping a close watch on, at least at the moment. We'll kind of back things off and show you what we're dealing with. At the moment, we'll put a new track on that. Once again, 35 miles per hour off towards the north and the east. So there it is. I'm going to track it off for you right around 36 miles per hour or so over towards Wartburg, 655. Frozen Head State Park, 706. Clinchmore, 726 over towards Caryville, 736. And PM Museum of Appalachia, that is at 742. So that's well out in advance in case they do issue warnings downstream. Not seeing any signs of that, at least at the moment, but nonetheless, we're going to keep a close watch on that. Let's take a look at the severe thunderstorm warning down for portions of Ray, Monroe counties as well, because they did have a potential tornado tag with that one, and I want to make sure I'm not overlooking anything. This is right over Wartburg Lake at the moment, and yeah, there definitely is some signs of at least some rotation. Might be a hair stronger over the last few scans. It's about to move right over the Wartburg steam plant area here in just a little bit. So we're going to keep a close watch on it at the moment. So we are getting some damage reports. We're going to toss to Gwen whenever she is ready here in just a minute. But let me kind of reset the picture for you, and then we'll give it over to Gwen to talk about a few of these damage reports, because it is becoming a little bit more active. And I'm also going to say that we're not done yet, unfortunately. So this is going to be a several piece thing that we're going to have to watch. You can see these showers and storms already pulsing back up. This is the main squall line. This is the one we were kind of more concerned about, at least for strong straight line wind damage. We'll keep a close watch on that as it moves a little bit closer. But for now, at least, we do have a couple of those tornado warnings at the moment. Guys in the back, when Gwen is ready, just let me know. That way I can pitch to you, but we'll go back and show you a few of these areas of rotation first. We'll start near the Jamestown community. It definitely looks a little bit more broader in rotation, but anytime we see these blues and greens kind of touching together there, that's the area that we're going to be the most concerned about, at least at the moment. Let's see, they canceled the tornado warning for Campbell and Scott County, so that's good news. Hopefully that trend will continue. I think they just issued, I'm trying to go back through all the warnings. Sorry, there's quite a few of those, at least at the moment. They did issue a tornado warning for Campbell and Scott counties, but it does look like they have dropped that. But it's still up there on our side at the moment, so we're going to keep it as it has. And I believe that one, okay, that one is Campbell and Scott. Now I see what they did. So the one is continuing for Campbell. That's until 7:15. They've canceled it for the one that includes Oneida. So Oneida, you're technically still under that severe thunderstorm warning at the moment, but I'm getting a little bit more concerned about this area of rotation just to the east of Jamestown at the moment. That's an area that we're going to keep a close watch on because it's following that same area. So nonetheless, be in your safe place right now. We'll track that one out for you and give you another update on who's in and who's out on that particular storm itself as well. So let's kind of back things up for us. Let's take a look as this moves off towards the east at 35 miles per hour. Now, outside of this, it's still a severe thunderstorm warning. So even if you're not where this rotation is, where I'm pointing it out, towards Scott Municipal Airport, once again, 7:11, Huntsville, once again, 7:19, Elk Valley by 7:43, and that's just kind of a rough idea of where things are heading over the next little bit. So we're getting some reports out of southeastern Kentucky of things down, of trees down and things like that, but of course, this is a little bit more concerning right now with the latest kind of atmosphere that we're going through, and we're going to unfortunately see this moving in once again with that main line. So Elk Valley, safe place right now. This is heading over towards Log Mountain. There's McLeod Mountain, 25 west right there. 75 is basically right on top of you at the moment right now. So let's zoom in a little bit tighter and show you what the velocity looks like on that, because it still does have a little bit of velocity that you can see there. I'll zoom in a little bit tighter. It's basically right over Elk Valley at the moment. And that's the area that we're most concerned about. It's right here that we're going to be watching very closely with these storms. It doesn't look as strong as what it did just a few frames ago, so that's at least some positive news. They're going to continue that severe thunderstorm warning with a possible tornado tag for Fentress County until 6:15 Central Time, so about another 30 minutes or so with that. So there's the storm right now. Once again, not seeing anything that would signal strong tornado on the ground or anything like that. That's good news. Let's kind of back things out. We'll show you what else we're dealing with, because we are having multiple warnings here, of course. And the one near Wartburg, it's beginning to get that kidney bean shape as well. It's not as structured. It's a little bit different looking than what the one up there in Campbell County looks like. But you can see right there, there's that little hook there on the back side of things. And we're going to keep a close watch on that as we move over the next 15 to 20 minutes. So, guys, do you have Gwen in the back by chance? Not yet. Okay, perfect. Thank you. So this is the area that we're watching right there. You can see that we are seeing some rotation. This is heading right up. Hopefully it stays just south of Wartburg, but this is going to impact many communities there in Morgan County. Once again, this tornado warning is going to continue until 7:15. So we still got another 30 minutes or so with this particular storm at the moment. So Storm Prediction Center, okay, they're going to issue a mesoscale discussion, probably talking about what we're seeing right now and the impacts that are potential down the road, because these are some storms that are strengthening. We can't rule out a few additional supercells developing as well, at least with this particular moment. But look at that storm right over Wartburg Lake, definitely showing some signs of an intense hail at the moment. Zooming in just a little bit tighter, this is a severe thunderstorm warning that's going to go till 7:30 for Loudoun, McMinn, Meigs, as well as Roane counties as it moves off towards the north and east at about 30 miles per hour. So that's what we're looking at right now. Let's go ahead and take a look at that reflectivity, because that did have the potential for a little bit of rotation as well. It's not as well pronounced. That it was a little bit stronger just a little bit ago, but not seeing that at the moment. So I'm just going to double check and make sure that I'm not missing anything from the weather services, because they're talking about different things going on, multiple storms, of course, and multiple weather service offices, and they're doing a fantastic job of letting us know what we need to keep you updated on with these particular warnings as they're being issued. So if you're just joining us, coming up 6:50 on this Sunday evening, this is the area that we're going to be looking at. So viewer sent me a video of the tornado-warned storm in Cumberland County. Said there was a tornado that touched down near the Walmart in Cumberland County. Can't see the touchdown in the video, but it is low quality. So we're going to keep a close watch on that. Of course, if you have video, if you have pictures, please send them in to us. That way we can pass that along to the Weather Service itself. That way we can alert them, and that way if there needs to be another watch or warning issued, they are aware of it, and we can kind of take care of things. But I want to zoom back just a little bit and not forget about this line that's going to be moving in over the next several hours. It's still probably about three hours away from the majority of our viewing region, but that's a strong line of those showers and storms, severe thunderstorm warning. That does include Nashville at the moment, so those storms are packing a little bit of a punch as well. But we still have 3 tornado warnings at the moment. You can see where each one of those is at the moment, and I think the strongest one, in my opinion, might be the one that's moving over the same areas that were hit in Cumberland County. And yeah, it definitely does look like it's quite strong. It might be broad. We're still looking at a long distance away, but right there's Jamestown. That's the area that we're going to be most concerned about as it moves off towards the east. But let's not forget Oneida, Robbins, over towards Norma. You have that severe thunderstorm warning out as well, with the possibility of a tornado tag in it, but 60-mile-per-hour winds there. But over towards Elk Valley, another storm that we're having to keep a very close watch on, of course, as this storm is moving off towards the east at 35. Let's put a quick track on that for you as that storm is moving off towards the east. So the tornado warning is still going for Fentress counties. That's good news, at least at the moment, but we are going to continue to watch this moving to the east at 35. So let me put a quick track on that for you. That way you know who's in and who's out as this storm is pushing east. So this is over towards Scott Municipal Airport, 716. Now, granted, this is Eastern time. Remember, we're going to switch from Central to Eastern as the storm moves into Scott County. Huntsville, 725, so you still have about 30 minutes before it gets there. Hopefully, the signature begins to weaken, and they won't issue any more tornado warnings for that storm, but still capable of producing one. Then we have over near Elk Valley, as well as Log Mountain. That's the areas that we're keeping a close watch on for the potential for more spin-up tornadoes. This has had the history of producing one back across Cumberland County. And looking at the latest signature, still looks a little bit messy, at least at the moment, but it's right there. Elk Valley, slow moving as it moves eastward with time. Still McLeod Mountain, Log Mountain. Those are the areas that we're most concerned about, at least at this particular moment. So let's see here. So they canceled the severe thunderstorm warning for McMinn. That's good news. They are continuing, though, for Loudoun, Meigs, Monroe, Ray, and Roane counties until 7:30, still tagging the possibility of a tornado there as it's lifting off towards the east at about 30 miles per hour. So still severe thunderstorm warning there off towards our south. Let's not forget about that. But let's see, the latest meso analysis, this is from the National Weather Service there in Nashville, and this is going to kind of tell us what the atmosphere is primed for moving forward in time. Definitely showing some signs of high helicity. The circulation that we're continuing to see is kind of a bullseye right over our viewing region. So that's why we've been with you for the last several minutes, and that's why we're going to continue to keep and be with you as we head over the next little bit. So there's that particular storm. Let's put a time tracker on that one, as that one is moving to the east at 30 miles per hour. So areas like McLeod Mountain, 717. Log Mountain, 726, Russell Mill, 744, and over towards Marning as we head closer to 753. So keeping a very close watch, at least on these severe thunderstorm warnings, as well as tornado warnings as they're coming in. So I know a lot of people are probably asking to put golf back on, but I promise you I would like to have that for you. But unfortunately, with these stronger storms, it's just not going to happen, unfortunately, due to the possibility of loss of life and property. So I'm going to talk about this one storm that's in Morgan County right now, at least for the next little bit, and then we'll pitch it over to Gwen, who's going to talk a little bit about some of the damage that we're seeing. But I want to keep a close watch because this storm is now definitely piquing my interest. This is in Morgan County, southern Morgan County. Remember, we had northern Morgan under that tornado warning just a moment ago. Now southern Morgan is under the gun and definitely looking at some strong wind signatures with that particular storm as it's moving off towards the east at about 30 to 35 miles per hour. So let me put a quick track on it, and then we'll get you over to Gwen for a few of those damage reports as we continue to analyze some of these showers and storms. Frozen Head State Park 715, Braytown 726, Clinchmore 739, Clinton by 748. So we're going to toss it over to Gwen now, who's got a few reports of some of that damage caused by these storms.
All right, Jacob, thank you for this wall-to-wall coverage. And we're not the only ones working around the clock for you. I just got off the phone with E911 out of Jamestown, and they're telling me that they are slammed with calls. In fact, I was on a call with a dispatcher with E911. They were telling me that there were several sirens, and at the very moment, she was telling me how you all should be safe. If you're in this Jamestown area, we heard tornado sirens, and that call was dropped. But she said in that very few moments that we were able to talk, she said stay away from windows if you can, stay off of the roadways if you can. And speaking of roadways, we did get reports out of Crossville along Highway 70 or I-70 that there were some looks like there was some down trees, some down power lines in that area. We're going to let you listen in a little bit to that exchange I had with that E911. You can just hear how they're working around the clock for you. Take a listen.
They need to stay away from windows and stay away from
And that was the moment we got disconnected because of those tornado sirens, which lasted for several seconds. There were multiple going on. Just in Jamestown alone, in that E911 dispatch, there are only 2 dispatchers, she said, working right now. So as you can imagine, people are short-staffed on this Sunday, working around the clock for you. Take a look at this video. This is coming out of Crossville. It looks like you can see the clouds circulating. You've heard Jacob talk about these clouds circulating, and when the heat comes, this is when we're starting to see the potentials of this damage. This looks like a home from Brooke Bucky sending us this video now. The pictures, I believe this is all from the same area out of Crossville right now that we're getting photos of. It looks like a down home. In this post, it mentions that this is a brand new home. You can see the roof collapse structure on the ground from this very quick weather. Should we call this tornado? Was this a tornado that touched down in this particular area?
I'm not comfortable saying yes for certainty,
Okay.
but there has been reports and there's been obviously visuals of funnel clouds and tornadoes at least reported in the area. National Weather Service will go out there and we'll inspect it tomorrow and kind of give you an idea. But I wouldn't say it's completely, but it definitely looks like it definitely could have been a brief touchdown.
And that is protocol with the National Weather Service for them to go out after the math to see what happened exactly. So you're right, Jacob. It will be a while before it's determined what exactly touched down, but we can tell you that it was strong winds, rainfall came down in this Crossville area along 70 right now. People are still in that area. They're asking you if you're on the road, if you're trying to get out, just stay put if you can. Right now is a good time to charge up all electronics that you have. Oh, take a look at this. This is first time we're watching or getting a glimpse at this damage. I believe this is also from Brooke Bucky, so this is Crossville as well along 70. You can see they're on the road there. Traffic looks to be slowing down just a little bit. It looks like people are just watching and seeing what has happened from these strong storms right now. This is one of those funnel clouds that we've been hearing reports of. This looks like more of your rural area, a lot of land, pasture out there. We did see a home collapse, or partial parts of that home collapse onto the ground. Again, we know that it's just strong storms still in that area. Jacob, what can you tell us right now, or any parts of this area still in the clear?